The bankruptcy in federal court is back on. LIEnette thinks we don't want that to happen. DEUCE thinks we don't want that to happen. I can share with you publicly, we want that to happen. Number one, it allows us to get a deep dive into 100% of all of her financials. Federal court, Fed 1 and Fed 2, that's a whole different monster that she's being sued for that doesn't give us access to everything. It also, in bankruptcy, gives us access to everyone who has given her money or raised money on her behalf. Again, we wouldn't have had that access in Fed 1 or Fed 2. It also allows the government to actually seize her property and be removed from the property. But in the biggest mistake they've ever made in their lives, it literally allows the stay or the pause on Fed 1 and Fed 2 to be completely and totally lifted, because now we can combine Fed 1 and Fed 2 with the bankruptcy case because it's federal court. In other words, smooth sailing, moving faster to a desired outcome and end. This is one of the biggest mistakes DEUCE has ever made in his life. LIEnette is literally going to end up with nothing, except DEUCE has made some bigger mistakes. I have a handful of them right here. You see, DEUCE, who is not licensed to practice law in the state of Florida, and you're going, well, hold a second. He represented LIEnette for just a mere moment in the Fed 1 case. Yeah, that was a special approval for the federal case. That's it. He is not allowed to practice at the state level or the county level whatsoever. And yet, he has attempted to have ex parte communications with the judge in the Trespass 5 case, in the thumbnail case. Oh, not only is that unethical, oh my goodness, do you realize the judge, and this has all now been submitted as evidence in the cases, the judge can have him disbarred. The judge can contact the Florida bar and the Connecticut bar. The judge, not only can we do something about this, but the judge has all power and authority. And now it's in the docket. It's all official. 4 documents in PDF form have been uploaded to the official docket for the thumbnail Trespass 5, emphasis on the Trespass 5 case. Now, there are no less than 8 email communications attempting to get a hearing or a whispering in the judge's ear in regards to Trespass 5. Now, remember, Trespass 5 is individuals who came together at the request of Lloyd Campbell, who said, I need help. I fear for my life. He had all authority and access to be on the property, to remove his property with anybody he desired, deemed necessary to remove his property. And yet, there was a frivolous lawsuit that DEUCE convinced LIEnette she was going to make millions from myself and from others. Well, the writings don't sound that way at all. As a matter of fact, it sounds like they're scared to death and scrambling for any kind of Hail Mary. Not gonna happen, but they keep making mistakes, and I keep wearing my beloved Cleveland Indians. All right, let's see what DEUCE had to say in the docket. All right, on October 1st, 2025, at 5:24 p.m., DEUCE boy here writes to, you have to understand, he's writing to the court. Now, who gets it in the court? The judicial assistants, okay? So the JAs. So the judicial assistants, they get all of this. They filter everything before it gets to the main judge. And DEUCE writes in, and he says, I can't believe you are unable to do something to make sure the judge sees what's happening. Both of you are fully aware of it. Now, this seems like a pretty blatant sticking the finger right at the court. Both of you are blatantly aware of it. Oh, that's a way to win friends, gain influence, and become the world's worst lawyer because everybody is laughing at him. What he does is he states here in January 2024, Ms. Preston had her own temporary protection order versus Hale's before Judge DeThomas's. And let's be extremely clear, because DEUCE doesn't like to put it in here. It was illegal. The appellate court literally said unlawful, illegal. She never had a legal temporary protection order against myself. Now, this entire time, I've had a permanent restraining order, civil protection orders against her and CROOK. George has the exact same thing, which they have violated many, many times, which they are going to be held accountable for in Ohio court here in just a number of days. And by the way, the bankruptcy does not stop anything in Ohio, anything at all. Lots of people are going to be getting some documents in the mail here. And he goes on to say they used that as a pretext to force her to appear on Zoom for a deposition. And here is why. And he gives links to my videos. So apparently accountability and consequences in the legal realm are not something he stands for. I mean, I would think, being an officer of the court, he would be a champion. He would be the first person to champion accountability, protection, and yet he is the furthest thing from what you would think an officer of the court would be. And of course, he goes on, page 2 here. Now they want a new Zoom depot. Content to broadcast on YouTube to mock and humiliate her and entertain Hale's viewers for his own profit. He and Shockett are abusing the court. And he underlines it. They're ruining this woman's life. Hold a second. All right, let's just back up for a second. First of all, we did do a Zoom deposition. No doubt about it. We did a Zoom deposition. And for the thumbnail case, as this is referring to, we scheduled Zoom yet again. But we didn't schedule Zoom for her to appear on Zoom. She is court ordered to appear in person at Levy County Courthouse. That's it. Now, it will all be filmed, and it's being filmed for evidence. Obviously, it's being filmed for evidence. It's being filmed for evidence. Am I going to show it? Absolutely, I'm going to show it. It's going to be there for accountability, for evidence. Nobody can continue this smear campaign with their PR, their toothless PR team. Obviously, I'm going to keep showing the truth. Obviously, I'm going to keep showing and clearing my name, because this isn't about money. This is about character. I have character, integrity. These freaks and fools have none of that. All right, they're ruining this woman's life, he says. I'm curious, how do you ruin a woman's life who's already stated that her life has been ruined by literally everybody? Oh, yeah, including him! She has come out and said that these people have made everything worse for her. That includes DEUCE. Now, LIEnette stating that about DEUCE. DEUCE saying that I'm ruining her life. Interesting. I didn't invite her to come to Otter Creek. I didn't tell her to buy property across the street from me. I didn't tell her to break the law. I didn't tell her to do any of these things. Yet she has constantly done them. Seems like LIEnette has a path of destroying her own life anywhere and everywhere she goes. And DEUCE goes on to say, and nobody there seems to lift a finger. Really? Levy County Courthouse, nobody seems to lift a finger. You had Judge Grudge do illegal activity from the bench. He should never, ever be a judge again. Nobody lifts a finger? Maybe it's just the gavel. Okay. Except to enter incorrect default orders after she filed an answer in another case, Granger versus Preston, giving Hale's content. Wait, you know who else is covering this content? Fleesa? Oh, yeah, you got that toothless Fleesa. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got Dodger Robbie all a part of that. You got the Nat jumping in on that. Oh, Flutter, you know Susan? Susan, yeah. The creator of the alligator music video, which, by the way, we all know, as she claims, there was no names. It's obviously in reference to me, and the court will see that, and the jury will see that it's in reference to me, because she's in communication with Paint Chips, who constantly says the exact same thing, right? Alligator, but somehow she thinks nobody's gonna know. Yeah, Susan, we all know. The jury's gonna know. The judge is gonna know. The world is gonna know. Okay, except to enter the incorrect default orders after she filed an answer. By the way, she did not file her answer in a responsive time that she was supposed to legally do it in. And the ridiculousness. Listen, if there's one thing you're going to get from all this, DEUCE does not know law. Overall, does not know law. Number 2, does not know Florida law at all. Number 3, should never even be a lawyer. All right? In the other cases, giving Hale's content, we won in court. He quotes my title, we won in court. Well, we did win in court. And forcing her to expend more time and stress to deal with the court's mistake. How is LIEnette, under the free assistance of an attorney, which is DEUCE, we all know it's DEUCE, and they are illegally not displaying that, not sharing that on these motions that are being filed, and that's going to come up as well. Breaking the law, constantly breaking the law. Forcing her to expend more time and stress to deal with the court's mistake. Please read the attached. He must have lied to get his Florida bar license. This is DEUCE trying to get Randy's bar license. All right, so let's tailor this all down into the most simplistic thing that we possibly can. Number 1, they've done everything they can to try and get these cases dismissed, and they can't, because what they did was wrong. Number 2, they've tried to do everything they can to get me dismissed, to the point of even trying to hire somebody to dismiss me from this planet. And yeah, that's going to be talked in depth with witnesses and evidence in Ohio court coming up in just a number of days. And since they can't get rid of the cases, they can't get rid of Jeremy Hales, they tried to get rid of Judge Belethio. That didn't work for them either. Although, filing for bankruptcy, now you're going to a more harsh, stricter federal judge, and now we get to take everything over there into the bankruptcy court. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, that's part of the plan. They're finally going to get their wish. Belethio may be gone. He may be gone. We'll see. But since they couldn't get rid of the judge, they're trying to get rid of Randy. Listen, you get rid of one lawyer, you're just going to have another lawyer. As a matter of fact, I have hired one of the best bankruptcy lawyers in the state of Florida because we want this bankruptcy hearing. We want this bankruptcy case. Now, there are you out there that may be saying, Jeremy, you're just trying to throw them off. Hey, I can tell you with 100% certainty, 100%, we want this all in the federal court case in bankruptcy. This gives us the cleanest, clearest, fastest, and least expensive way to remove them from our lives forever. The federal courts will do it. They will seize everything. We will have access to everything. Bruce's books, Felisa's books, the whole deal. All right. So you're going, okay, well, that was the beginning of October. Was there a response? Well, there were responses. There were responses by the court, and the response was, well, first, by the way, who do you think DEUCE is carbon copying on these? Well, Jerome, and we ain't talking about me. By the way, my legal name is Jeremy. It's not Jerome. It's not Jeremiah. Nickname growing up, my entire life has been Jerome. It's not me. I'm not Jerome. So it's Jerome, the bankruptcy lawyer, and LIEnette. They're the only ones carbon copied. You don't see Randy on any of these. This is attempting unethically and frankly illegally to get in the judge's ear, to cause bias, to sway a case to go one way or the other. This is a major issue for DEUCE now. Why do you think this is all in the docket now? Something's going to be done. You know he's on the run. All right. You may be going, okay, I don't know 100% he's on the run. He might still be in Connecticut. Okay. The planning to run is already there. He will be held accountable in these courts. And it's just going to be a moment of time before LIEnette goes full force against him as well for what he's done to her and her life. She's already hates Felisa for everything Felisa did. So far, she still thinks that DEUCE is helping her. DEUCE has hurt her in so many ways she can't even fathom or understand because she doesn't have the intellect to do it. She's not smart enough. So DEUCE goes on October 6th on 2025 at 12:24 p.m. And he states, is it being heard tomorrow? Is it video conference hearing? What do you think that was? Okay. Well, the response is, kindly provide the case number so I may reference it accordingly. That's what we get in a response, okay? And keep that in mind because these responses are pretty to the point. DEUCE is all over the place, but the court is giving just very simple responses. On October 6, 2025 at 1:27 p.m., Candace, who's the judicial assistant at JA, replies to DEUCE and says, kindly provide the case number. I'll reference it accordingly. Thanks. That's it. Okay, so what's next after that is we get DEUCE coming back again. October 6th, 1:31 p.m. He gives the case number. Now, you see, DEUCE is doing anything he can to keep anything out of the court system he possibly can. Because LIEnette will be held financially accountable for everything she's done with him. It's all him. He's pulled the strings. He's done it. LIEnette's even come forth and said she knew nothing about these cases until they were already in it. Boy, can you imagine? DEUCE wants nothing more than to keep her from being deposed because he knows she gets to talking and she doesn't stop and she will throw anyone and everyone under the bus. He knows he's next. He is fighting to keep her from giving a deposition. By the way, who do you think is going to be deposed in the bankruptcy case? So, just so everybody's on the same page, in the thumbnail case, LIEnette's deposition was scheduled for October 29th. That is now on pause, okay, or it's on stay, the legal term stay or pause, until after the bankruptcy case. You think that matters? She's going to be deposed in the bankruptcy case. As a matter of fact, we have more access to more things in the bankruptcy case. He has literally handed us over everything we could have dreamed of and desired. So just because one deposition is on stay doesn't stop the other depositions from bankruptcy. Oh, and DEUCE will be deposed for the bankruptcy. Oh, Felisa will be deposed for bankruptcy. We'll be going through all their records, financial, the whole deal. This is epic. Epic. Oh, and when Felisa goes, irrelevant. Do you think she's going to, just hanging? Oh, I can't wait. We're going to have to count how many times Felisa says just saying. Okay? All right. Or coughs. You can keep a tally how many times she says just saying, how many times she coughs, how many times she farts, how many crickets you hear. All right. So DEUCE offers the court the case number for bankruptcy, which literally means nothing. This is where it gets a little bit crazy now. DEUCE writes again October 6th at 1:41 p.m. By the way, this was all put on the docket on October 25th. Or excuse me, October 21st of the year, the 25th, okay? We're not at October 25th as of the timing of this filming. DEUCE writes yet again. Carbon copying Jerome and LIEnette. No Randy. Sorry, I thought you understood the subject referred to the bankruptcy reinstatement motion that is being heard tomorrow. Because if Miss Preston's bankruptcy is reinstated, all of the proceedings before Judge Grobe would be stayed. Well, got a little bit of issue there. It's called a government shutdown. Okay. All right. So DEUCE and all of his master planning and manipulation, which, by the way, if I have all of these, that he's also been trying to contact the Ohio courts. And we have proof, and we know that that has happened with not only him, but others. And what we were told as we were last time we were in Ohio court, which was last week or the week before. No, it would have been October 9th. October 9th. We were told that, yes, communication came in, and communication is immediately deleted. There is no response. It's not on the docket. It's immediately deleted. It's not seen by the judge or magistrates. It's completely and totally, it's gone. So all of him trying to manipulate the courts in Ohio, just immediate, delete. They don't even pay attention to it. Here in Florida, What did they do? They put it on the docket. That's because something's going to be done about this. Judge Grove, something is going to be done about this. I'm sorry, I thought you understand the reference to the bankruptcy reinstatement motion that's being heard tomorrow because Miss Preston's bankruptcy is reinstated. All the proceedings before Judge Grove, they would be stayed or paused. That's the legal word for pause. They're going to pause until after the bankruptcy case. Mr. Hales and Mr. Shockett know this, and so they are pressing all of these matters into a short period while the bankruptcy stay has been lifted pending the reinstatement. They are doing so merely so Mr. Hales can make YouTube content from all the filings, the defaults, the deposition notices. Interesting, because seems to me there's a lawyer out there, that we're all laughing at, in writing, completely and totally in writing, recorded for evidence in federal court, promising people views, monetary gain. I mean, for him to even put this is insanity written in a document after the things he's done and said. I'm sure you agree if you're watching right now. This is a guy who promised fame and money to people if they would cover this. Now he's crying that somebody's covering something that's going on in their own life. This is my life. It's what the Hales. It's not what the DEUCE. It's not what the FLISA. It's not what the LIEnette. It's not what the CROOK. It's what they're doing to me in my life. What the Hales. All right. And they are doing it merely so Mr. Hales can make YouTube content as anti-What the Hales ecosystem members continue to make content. Well, this argument is null and void. It's stupid. It's very, very ignorant based on what he's already said and done and the evidence against him. They know there's no point to any of it if the bankruptcy is reinstated, but exploit every possible chance to file something. Wait, hold a second. We didn't file thumbnail case. That's right. We didn't file Trespass 5 case. That's right. We didn't have Lips and Chips come after us either. Mm-mm. Oh, you know what? We didn't involve other people and create a What the Hell's anti-ecosystem that is now on Fed 2. That was DEUCE. That was DEUCE. Very interesting. DEUCE and FLISA. Yeah. We got evidence that FLISA is the one that actually recruited Paint Chips and Vomit. Oh, we've got a lot that they don't know about right now. We have a lot. Did you guys know that DEUCE is still talking with LIEnette, screaming and yelling at LIEnette almost daily? Yeah, I mean, you've heard some videos of DEUCE yelling and screaming. Can you imagine DEUCE and LIEnette screaming back and forth? No, you will. Won't have to imagine much longer. Unfortunately, the Granger versus Preston case, they got you and entered a default, even though Ms. Preston had already filed a responsive answer and counterclaims. This caused more filings and more need for Ms. Preston to act to prevent unfair prejudice from an incorrectly entered default. She filed a motion to set aside. So now, DEUCE is telling the court they don't know how to do their job. They entered a default erroneously. It was wrong. Which, by the way, before that, the JA, the judicial assistant, stated, well, can't tell you what the stated. It's not there. It's not on there. Oh, well. Okay. Let's keep going. Yeah, there's a bunch. There's just a bunch. All right. Now, so DEUCE isn't getting what he wants from this JA, from Judge Grove's judicial assistant. So he brings in Davis's judicial assistant now as well. So now he's going to start sending to not only Candace, the JA for Grove, but he's going to send also to the JA for Davis, which Davis has nothing to do with this anymore, except now Davis is the judge over all the judges. Lindsay Polk. He's trying to try and get the Polk as well. All right, so he goes on to say the bankruptcy is being reinstated. Do you understand this is October 6th, 5:07 p.m. Judges are closed, and his email, the bankruptcy is being reinstated. Okay, so let's break that down first of all. First of all, how does he know the bankruptcy is being reinstated at this point on October 6th? He has no clue. He has none whatsoever. The federal judge determines whether it's being reinstated. And the fact is, there is, at this point, no bankruptcy case. It's gone. It doesn't exist, which means everything else moves forward. Whether Deucey Poo likes it or not, or he wants to cry like a little baby and email everybody in the courts. It's my ball. I'll take it if you don't like it. What a snively little snot-nosed fool. Jeez. Oh my goodness. It's not being reinstated. It has as of yesterday, the 21st of October, which we were hoping for. We're thrilled about it. And so this is a good thing. And thus, I honestly did not think the federal judge was going to do it. I was worried the federal judge was not going to reinstate the bankruptcy case because of all the shenanigans, all the ridiculousness, the foolishness. And by the way, you ought to see some of the garbage in Jerome's past. Oh my goodness. How does DEUCE keep finding all these people with records? Seriously. Anyways. And thus, 2 cases involving Miss Preston will be again automatically stayed. I note that Mr. Shockett's proposed order denying the MPO, remember that's that medical protection order, MPO, medical protection order, remember, because she filed the day before, the night before, court's closed, and says, I can't be there for the deposition. My husband. Oh, who wrote that? My husband, which then LIEnette comes out later and says, there was a ghostwriter. They forgot X. You're not allowed to have a ghostwriter in court. I mean, you can have somebody write it, but at the end, it must state who wrote this. Again, the insanity of these freaks and fools and the illegal activity they've involved themselves in. I cannot wait till this is all over. They're all out of our lives, and they're all behind bars. Potentially. I believe there's going to be so much criminal indictments from all of this. Miss Preston, again, will be automatically stayed. I note that Mr. Shockett proposed order denying the MPO far exceeds what was asked for a simple denied order. No. So here's what happened. Shockett goes in, and Judge Grobe says, all right, I approve the order, go ahead and draft the order. Then the judge goes through the order and makes any changes to the order. Randy was told to draft it. Then the judge approves it, goes through it, proofreads it, says yes or no, make this change. And Judge Grobe said absolutely yes. Sanctions were always. Judge Grobe emphasized this with her. Checks are going to be written. He wasn't talking to me. He wasn't talking to Brett and Therese. He wasn't talking to Larry. He wasn't talking to Jerome. He was talking to LIEnette. Checks will be written. Sanctions are coming, and they are going to be heavy. And Grobe ain't going to play this game with DEUCE either. There's some serious consequences coming for DEUCE, I truly believe. I note that Mr. Shockett's proposed order denying the MPO far exceeds what was asked, a simple denied order, and asked for sanctions on a false basis that Miss Preston completely failed to appear at a deposition. She didn't completely fail to appear. She was half there. She died. She didn't die. She completely failed to appear. She completely did appear, which is a DEUCE. She didn't appear. And you guided her. You gave her counsel to do this. You told her when to file this. The motion was ready a week beforehand, and you told her when to file this. You think I ain't got what I need on you, DEUCE? Oh, you are so wrong. See paragraph 10. Miss Preston filed an MPO the day before, and Mr. Shockett, knowing she would not be appearing, convened just so A, Hales could make a YouTube content, and B, what YouTube content did I make from her not appearing? A short said she didn't appear. That's not exactly content. 30 seconds of a short. We might have laughed at DEUCE on it as well. I'm sure we did. By the way, stop doing stupid stuff and there would be no content, wouldn't there? You know what? You stay out of my life and there would be no content. You would have no argument with this. Right? Get out of my life. It's all gone. There is nothing. So why don't you fulfill your own argument? Why don't you stop? Why don't you leave? Why don't you flee to Armenia? or wherever else you're going to flee to this time, thinking they're not going to catch up with you. All right. And he could file his motions for sanctions based on the false basis that she had completely failed to appear. She did completely fail to appear. Her foot wasn't there. She didn't even have a tooth, as much as they're falling out in the room. 100% not there. When pending MPO met, she could await a ruling. Wrong. In other words, DEUCE told her to file it at the last minute so that the judge couldn't make an order on it before. So DEUCE told her had her file it the night before so that the judge didn't have enough time to actually rule on it, so that he told her he would 100%, she would not have to go, and there would be no repercussions, there would be no consequences. This is all part of the plan, all part of the delay tactics, all to cost me more money, the whole deal. All part of it, what they're trying to do. Didn't work the way that he said it would. Most things don't, do they? Okay, waiting a ruling. He thought, oh, the judge is going to go, okay, well, now I have to rule on this. Wrong. She was court ordered to be there. She didn't show up. Completely and utterly failed to appear. And now she's being held in contempt. Not contempt yet, but with consequences of sanctions. So Mr. Shockett continues to abuse the court for the sake of his client's YouTube content. Isn't that interesting? I wonder what kind of legal liability DEUCE has putting this stuff in writing with the court. Randy may even go after him. I don't know. I hope Judge Grobe is aware of the attached court decision about Mr. Shockett. Which again, he tries to remove Shockett from everything because he can't get rid of me. He can't get rid of the judges. And then on October 6th, I apologize. At 1:40, this is before the 5:05 email I just read you. It says, sorry, I thought you understood the subject. Refer to the bankruptcy reinstatement motion that is being heard today. Because if Miss Preston's bankruptcy is reinstated, all the proceedings before Judge Grobe would be stayed. Mr. Hales and Mr. Shockett know this, and they're pressing all of these, and they're doing so merely so Mr. Hales can make YouTube content. I think we already read that one. I think that's a duplicate on here. Anyways, Candace says this case is not scheduled before Judge Grobe, meaning the bankruptcy case. And I'm sure you understand that as well. Okay. And if right now you're going, man, I'm so confused. There's so much in this garbage. Well, there's a lot of garbage in this. It's going to make it's more than a movie. It's absolutely a huge TV series. Now, do we have producers contacting us every day? Absolutely. Have we ever said yes? The only people we've ever said yes to was A&E. They wanted to purchase some of my videos, and we agreed on a purchase price. We did not agree on editing, and they wanted to edit, and I told them they had no editing rights whatsoever. Nobody's allowed to edit my videos. I own my videos, and therefore we never moved forward. So, someday, I mean, if Netflix came to us 20 years from now, maybe we could laugh about it and say, okay, let's do it, but not anytime soon. DEUCE emails again, October 7th at 11:37 a.m. Miss Polk, Miss Thomas, again, Lindsay, J.A. for Davis, and Miss Thomas Candace, J.A. for Grobe. Judge Grobe asked for an order denying the MPO, not awarding sanctions or making any findings of fact underlying such an award. Nevertheless, Mr. Shockett added sanctions to the order as well as findings. He added what he asked for and was approved. Although this was not, caps, all caps, what the judge asked for. Nevertheless, it was entered without any discussion. By the way, DEUCE is going to try and get this video taken down, and if he succeeds in that, this is just going to be more liability for him in Fed 2 case. So he continues to meddle. He continues to mess with my income, and he continues to give us more evidence and more evidence and more evidence. I will make sure this man is paying me for the rest of his godforsaken life. In essence, the court granted a motion for sanctions without an opportunity for Ms. Preston to even respond, and no hearing. I suspect it didn't even realize it because Shockett slipped it in. Now he's accusing Shockett of slipping things in under the nose of the court. Obviously, they knew about it. The judge proofreads it and approves it. When a party files an MPO, they have not completely failed to appear for deposition. Rather, they notified via MPO that they won't be appearing when they're court ordered to appear. You don't get to go against the court. Despite this, all caps again, ooh, he's mad. DEUCE, he's mad. Mr. Shockett chose to incur the cost of the court reporter instead of canceling it so he could file a motion for sanctions. Of course he's going after sanctions. We're going after sanctions on DEUCE as well for anything and everything. He continues to break the law. He continues to do this unethical and many times illegal activities. Absolutely, we're going for sanctions. Your office continues to play into every scheme they perpetrate to make YouTube content out of these court filings. Your office entered a default in Granger versus Preston. Now we're in all bold. After and despite she filed an answer. He underlined it too. Can you ask yourself the question and come up with an answer? What is DEUCE doing emailing the court? He does not represent her in this matter whatsoever. This is completely unethical. This is illegal, trying to get the ear of the judge. He is not licensed. What do you think Judge Grove is going to do? Something's going to happen. Something that's absolutely happening because of this. I hope it happens in Ohio too, but I'm not getting that instinct from the judge in Ohio. We were just told everything was deleted immediately. Your office entered a default in Granger versus Preston after and despite she filed an answer. Now you make Miss Preston have to file more motions to address the sanctions. You mean DEUCE file more motions? We already know LIEnette's not filing it. That have been ordered because Shockett included this despite A, it not being what the judge asked for, and B, the sanctions are based off of falsicity. And he bolded falsicity and underlined it. You know, a word that nobody uses. Falsicity. You could have just said based off of false lies? That she failed to appear. No, that's not falsicity. She was not there. She failed to completely, utterly appear. Trust me, I know. That failed to appear with no notice that enabled them to avoid incurring the cost of the reporter. Just more complete and total stupidity. Seriously, complete and total stupidity. More. This is just insanity. Filed again on October 21st, 2025. He writes this October 9th, 2025 at 2:27 p.m. Miss Thomas, once again I alert you to the error in the entry of default. Remember, LIEnette has lost the Trespass 5 case. There is a default entered. Judge Grove told her, you are in over your head. You will be writing checks. And here's DEUCE illegally, unethically trying to get the ear of the court. Once again, I alert you to the error. Telling them they're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Telling them that the error, that the entry of default. The order for default entered on September 20th is based on the following findings. 7. The court finds that despite proper notice, defendant has failed to file to serve any responsive pleading or otherwise defend the action. Then DEUCE goes on to say, obviously this is incorrect as the docket shows an answer, defense, and counterclaims filed on September 15th. Listen, let me share something with you. DEUCE can't even keep these cases straight. He doesn't even know what was filed for which case. I guess that's what happens when you're hitting it every 15 minutes. When you gotta have some of the devil's lettuce. When you're a vegetarian for the devil's lettuce. You can't even... He has screwed this up so bad. Mismatching filings with court cases. He is not a lawyer of the law. He is a lawyer. He is a laughingstock. He will be remembered as the worst lawyer ever seen on this platform. Did Mr. Shockett draft the order as well? If so, he purposely included this false finding for the judge's signature. If not, then he is free from blame in this instance, unlike the other matter in which he machinated, another one of DEUCE's favorite words, to create, to imagine, to come up with a sanction order based on falsely including an order that Miss Preston completely failed to appear. Here we go with the complete... She did! She wasn't there! Her mom died! Her mom didn't die! Come on! My lawyer died! My lawyer didn't die! He's still writing in! That's what Judge Grove should be saying from the bench. I thought your lawyer died. Why do I keep getting all these insane emails? Remember, her lawyer in Ohio literally reached out to my lawyer in Ohio and apologized profusely because of DEUCE. He said he's never seen any behavior like this in his life. He wants nothing to do with that anymore. Why is it that everybody that comes into DEUCE's life wants nothing to do with DEUCE? I mean, I got everybody trying to be a part of my life to the point of stalking me and buying property across the street from me. And yet everybody in DEUCE's life wants him as far away as possible. It's interesting, isn't it? Even Fleesa is throwing him under the bus. Even Fleesa is stating, it's him, not me. It's him, not me. Even Fleesa is starting that divide. Oh, this is gonna get hot in court. Oh, to see the way they're gonna throw each other under the bus. It is extremely upsetting that even after filing her pleading, Ms. Preston must still deal with the consequences of an entry of default as if she had not filed her pleading prior to default being entered. She diligently filed a motion to set aside on September 25th. Diligently? Do you realize a couple things here? Number one, her motions are incorrect. Number two, her motions have been late. Number three, she's not even doing them legally. She's not even telling who's ghostwriting them. Her motions mean nothing. It has still not been set aside. Every day it remains, equaling more stress for her and more YouTube content for Mr. Hales. When will this default be removed? I'll tell you what the world really wants to know is when LIEnette and CROOK are going to be removed from our lives. And it's going to happen legally. And the bankruptcy court is the place where it can happen speedily, and it can be happening effectively, efficiently, almost immediately. We're prepped and ready. I don't think they are.